Hey, this is WhyBeAre back with Dirt 4. Today we're going to learn how to control the throttle. Throttle control is a crucial technique for controlling oversteer and understeer, particularly when driving rear-wheel drive cars. Too bad I'm going to drive all-wheel drive cars mostly, at least I would think. I don't know what cars I'll mostly be driving, we'll see. You know, it depends what my choices are. I might not have a choice, it's like rear-wheel drive it is.
Throttle control is super important, especially for rear-wheel drive vehicles like this one. When accelerating out of tight turns, use partial throttle to limit oversteer and try to avoid mashing the gas until you've straightened out.
Mash the gas? Okay.
Through long, fast corners, use as much gas as possible to keep your speed up, but back off to control slides when they happen. Once you're confident, apply more gas to find the car's limits and get faster.
Apply more gas, got it. I'm getting the key parts of this, that's what's important. Mash it and apply more gas after you mash it. That's all you need to know. Here we go. Mashing! Still mashing! Making mashed potatoes! Don't even care, mashing cones! They said to mash, let's mash! Mash the cones! I have literally not let up on the throttle this whole time. That's why I can't control the car, because I have actually forced myself to mash it, which is a terrible, terrible strategy that you should not do. You should actually use a little bit of throttle control to, tilt the car around corners a little bit. I gotta get used to how the physics in this game exactly work. That's why I'm a little all over the place still. Give me a couple races and I'll be fine. That and, every time it's the start of a video, it kind of throws you off just a little bit. Mash the cones! Also, the cones mess you up when you mash into them. You probably shouldn't do that, but I don't care. Mash the cones! Oh, man. I love how many cones there are to mash. There's like hundreds of cones and I'm mashing them all. Mash, 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 mash! Alright. Enough of this. Let's go ahead and go to the next lesson. So in this one, the next one is called trail braking. Trail braking uses brake and throttle modulation to help you negotiate corners at higher speeds, which I kind of was doing anyways last time without thinking about it. But okay, here we go. Show me how to trail brake. At least I think I was doing that. It's basically just you use the brakes to kind of control the angle of your car, right? Game? Wait, it's going to talk. 3, 2.
When you're trail braking, you want to release the brake while you're adding steering. That shifts the weight forward, allowing you to take the turn and speed. Learning to manage weight transfer will help you with more advanced techniques, like the pendulum turn. Trail braking can be a necessity if there's not enough time to brake in a straight line.
Ooh, a jump! I love jumps. Jumps is probably one of the best parts about rallying because you get to see a car flying through the air. How often does that happen when it's not like a terrible, terrible crash? Not very often. That's why rallying is so great. One big problem though, the only thing on my mind now is the jump and getting some good air. Trail braking, that's at the back of my mind. I'm barely even thinking about that. I'm thinking, how can I get as much air as possible, and I think I have an idea. I saw that last corner and the way it looks like you can kind of cheat your way through it to go even faster when you hit the jump to fly even harder. What do I mean by that? Right here. So they're gonna go around the corner. I'm gonna bust through it. Oh, that slowed me down. Well, maybe not. I'm in 5th gear. Yeah, that was worth it. That was so worth it. Alright, let's try to do it legit this time. Because I can't just wreck through every challenge. I already did that the last time. This time I'll do it legit. So, slow it down. Actually, I did it faster than them, even with me almost flipping over. I think they did in like a 33-second time. I mean, I did, of course, skip a whole corner, which is probably a big benefit. Oh, now that the debris is gone, though, I can really go at this. Yes! Screw doing it regularly! Oh my goodness, that's so fast. There's no way you can stand the cars going that fast. Oh, but that was fun. Alright, that's enough of these lessons. I am not listening at all to what they're saying on this one. I gotta stop and just go to the next one, which is called the Pendulum Churn. They've mentioned this before. Pendulum churns allow you to go faster through tight turns by using rapid weight shift to force a change of direction. Please don't put anything interesting on the course that makes me want to not do what I'm supposed to do. Alright, game? That's all I ask. Wait a minute, I thought I did this one before. What?
To make a pendulum turn here, steer away from the corner, brake, and then countersteer sharply into the corner and hit the gas. This throws the weight across the car, allowing a quick change of direction. Use this technique to link corners at speed. For very tight corners, you can combine a pendulum turn with a quick hit on the handbrake at the apex to tighten the line.
I guess this is different than the one I did before. I was mistaken. I apologize for doubting you, game. Check this out. Perfect pendulum corner. We go out and then in and beautiful. That was so good. I don't even need to do this lesson. Except, you know, that was at like 5 miles an hour. Everybody could do it at those speeds. The actual challenge is doing it at racing speeds. Kind of like this, but not really, because this is more of a long swooping corner and I thought it was going to be tighter, so I ended up sliding too much and losing too much speed, and I just kind of had to recover, and by the time I did that, I was going through the corner way too slowly. This one is not swoopy, so this one I can definitely slow down on, and pendulum! Pendulum! I mean, you're not really steering to the right a lot, at least I'm not, because it feels so counterintuitive to like really, you know, whip it like this far and then come back. Like, you can't even see the corner when you do it that hard. It's like, I don't think you're supposed to do it that much. You know, just a little bit to kind of change the balance of the car. That's all you gotta do. That would be crazy if that was actually the fastest way around the corner, is literally coming into it with your backside pointed at the exit. I mean, that would be just the most ridiculous driving style ever. So just a little bit and then, well, going a little too fast. There we go, like that. Alright, on to the next lesson, which is called manual starts. And it's just a video.
Mastering the start is an art all in itself. In rally, it's not uncommon for drivers to be separated by 1/10 of a second at the end of a stage. So a good start could be the difference between winning and losing. In rallycross and land rush, a fast start is even more important. If you get out front first, you'll be clear of the rest of the cars when they hit the first corner together. Turning off the automatic starts assist gives you more control on the start. For manual starts, you need to hold the handbrake while you build up your engine revs, then release it when it's time to go. By default, the clutch works automatically, so there's usually a fraction of a second delay between the time you release the handbrake and when the clutch engages. Through experience, you're going to be able to anticipate this delay and release slightly before go time, giving you a faster start off the line. You need to be confident in your ability to anticipate, though, or you're going to get a penalty for jumping the start. Enabling the manual clutch gives you total control over when you engage the clutch. With practice, this is the fastest way to start, because you're going to be able to time it exactly right. But you need to be more aware of the surface you're on, because each one calls for a slightly different technique. Dry gravel requires the least precision. Dumping the clutch spins the wheels, digging you into the ground where you should find traction right away. Wet conditions can be a little tricky because you might find mud under your wheels that doesn't offer much grip, so you'll want to go easier on the clutch. Tarmac requires you to feed in the clutch progressively, since the shock of dumping the clutch can damage the drivetrain. Snow also requires a different approach. Too much clutch and you'll be spinning your wheels. So allow the car to roll forward slowly to establish grip, and then feed in the clutch to gain speed and avoid wheel spin.
Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that because they were talking about feeding the clutch, and I'm using a controller. You can't really feed a clutch with a controller because the clutch is on and off button, basically, where if you're using pedals, it's actually a clutch, you know? Although I do have the pedals right there. Maybe next video I'll use it. I don't know. Usually I only use the pedals for not recording videos because it comes really messy trying to have the microphone and the wheels, and I end up whacking the microphone all the time, and it's just a pain. Anyways, next up is called manual transmission, and it says, manually changing gears allows drivers greater control over which gear they are in to suit the road ahead, which can result in faster times. And who doesn't love faster times? Snails, turtles, sloths, and that's all the slow animals I know of. The rest of them, they love fast ones.
Long straightaways like this, climb up through the gears to get the fastest speed possible. For long sweeping turns, downshift before you turn in. Take the next two tight turns in first, accelerating into second between them. Timing your gear changes is critical. Watch for wheel spin, and don't shift up too soon. Work your way back up the gears, shift down for the first turn, and again for the next one. When you've got better traction on a paved surface, you can move through the gears faster. Drop to second the final turn.
You know, they're telling me use this specific gear for this corner stuff. There's no way I'm going to remember this. I'm just going to shift normally if I can figure out what control even shifts. All I got to do is figure out what button does the shifting. So, is it this one? Yes. No. Oh, that's e-brake. Okay, is it this one? Yes, it is. And then is downshifting this one? Yes, it is. All right, I now know my buttons. I also know when the red lights show up, that's when you shift. I do not, however, know how tight the corners are coming up because I already forgot. I know they said use this gear for this corner. Yeah, I can't remember that far. You know, it's gone out my head already. In one ear, out the other. And I just need a co-driver. That's the thing. If I had a co-driver, they'd be like, well, that's a left 3 corner YBR. You need to slow down. I'm like, all right, co-driver, I trust you. You know what you're talking about. I don't got no co-driver, though. So I'm just like taking the corners at safe speeds. Speeds where I know, like, I can't mess it up at. Oh! Changing tarmac right there almost messed me up because I forgot about that. Oh, hit both the cones. That's how you know you nailed it. Hey, I was faster than their time, and I was all over the place. And this is a weird looking car. Let's wreck it. Into the trees! Yeah. Ooh. Hey, that's how you finish a lesson because it does it automatically. It's like, good job, YBR. Go to the next lesson. We're going to go find a new car. So this is drive types featuring front-wheel drive basics, rear-wheel drive basics, and four-wheel drive basics. We're going to start with front-wheel drive. Learn about the characteristics of front-wheel drive vehicles and how to get the most out of them. And apparently the car I was just driving was a front-wheel drive car. I wasn't even paying enough attention to notice. I'm just like, let me look at these gears and learn how to shift.
In a front-wheel drive car, you're going to be fighting understeer. Focus on conserving momentum by getting your braking done in a straight line before turning in, and using the gas to pull you through the turn. Through slower sections, the steering is responsive, because your driven wheels are also the ones that are doing the steering. When you're dealing with oversteer, try to resist overcorrecting, because you might turn the wheels too far and suddenly snap the car around the other way. Instead, point the wheels where you want to go and floor it. The rear wheels are gonna follow the front. When you're comfortable you can save it from spinning, why not try initiating a little oversteer with the handbrake through a few turns to practice?
I mean, isn't that what you're always supposed to do with front-wheel drive anytime you go around a corner? Handbrake, baby! I do have one question, though. Am I still driving a manual transmission, or nope, it's automatic, because I just saw the car shift all on its own. What happens if I try to make the car shift? Does it do anything? Yes, it does. Oh, ha! And then the car is like, no, YBR, that is not the ideal gear. Let me show you the ideal gear. It is gear 3 in this situation. So it's kind of like a semi-automatic. Well, actually, it works like a real automatic when they have the paddle shifters, because I'm pretty sure that's what they do. Like, you can tell the car to upshift and downshift, but sometimes the car will be like, no, I'm not going to downshift because that'll over-rev the engine. You don't want to do a money shift, man. That's bad news. I'm doing the exact same thing I did last time, ain't I? Same car and same course, just I'm focusing on something different. Instead of paying attention to the gears, I'm paying attention to how the car drives. And that actually does change the way I approach things! Whoa! Who would put a big old, just metal barrier there right next to the course like that? Like right on the outside of the corner where you could accidentally hit it. Don't even put the cones there, because if you hit those cones, you're almost dead. Like, I'm lucky I didn't crash that. Alright, into the trees to finish it. Let's go! Same as last time, exactly. Oh, there goes my hood. All right, on to the next lesson, which is rear-wheel drive. Ooh, an old BMW, awesome. Learn about the characteristics of rear-wheel drive vehicles and how to get the most out of them.
Rear-wheel drive cars have a tendency to oversteer when you're on throttle, so controlling your inputs is crucial to maintaining stability. If you feel the car is understeering through tight turns, you can give it more gas to bring the back end around, but be ready to countersteer. Avoid heavy weight transfer because it can be hard to recover from a slide without totally losing momentum. Try to keep your drifts to shallow angles and carefully manage your inputs to control the amount of oversteer.
Nah, I'm DK. I'm the drift king. We're gonna do the biggest, meanest drifts you ever seen. Yeah, right. I wish I was good at drifting. I'm not. Not even close. Ooh. I even like the interior of this car more because it has a regular analog gauge setup. The other one had like that weird digital gauge, which just doesn't feel right to me because every car I've owned in real life has regular analog gauges. I'm sure if I had a car in real life that had a digital gauge, it would feel fine, but I don't, so it doesn't feel fine. Kind of like rear-wheel drive. It just feels right because every car I've owned in real life is rear-wheel drive. Actually, every car I've ever driven in real life has been rear-wheel drive. That's it. That's all I've ever driven. I have driven a non-rotary powered car once. It was a Camaro SS with the LS1, so it was a good engine. And that was the only thing good about that car. Everything around the engine was completely falling apart, and it worked out in the end because then I ended up buying the RX-8, which is a fun car, and I enjoy it anyways. But man, was that a bad car except for the engine. Like, if it was buying it as a project car, no problem, but I was buying that as a daily driver, which is not what you want to do. So there we go, there's a lap in 46 seconds. I wonder how far away we can get with this thing. Let's see, can we go over to there and get some airtime? Nope. So with that, I'm out of here to the last lesson, which will also probably be the last thing we do in this video, which is four-wheel drive basics. Learn about the characteristics of four-wheel drive vehicles and how to get the most out of them. And yep, this is a four-wheel drive car. I can tell because it's a Subaru and it's not a BRZ, because basically everything Subaru makes except for the BRZ is four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive gives you traction at all four corners of the car, so you can approach turns at higher speeds and throw the car in more aggressively. Don't be afraid to get on throttle earlier through a corner to maximize your speed. You're more likely to face understeer than oversteer because your front wheels are driven. So think about weight transfer when you throw the car into a corner and manage your gas and brake to control the angle.
You make it sound so complex, but really four-wheel drive is the easiest one to drive. You basically point it in the direction you want to go, hit the throttle, and most of the time it works out and you don't crash. I mean, you still can crash them, but it's a lot harder to do because you have four-wheel drive. I'm kind of curious about something, although I'm now more curious about this. Why can't I do anything? Oh, okay, so I can move the camera, so it's not the controller. I can't steer, and I can't accelerate, and I can't brake or anything. This is weird. What if I use the keyboard?
Four-wheel drive vehicles are very stable through turns, so you're probably not going to be dealing with unrecoverable understeer or oversteer. Use this to your advantage and attack corners with confidence.
Can I drive now? No?
Four-wheel drive vehicles are very stable.
You just said that. Okay, something's not right here because they're repeating themselves. I can't drive. I'm going to go ahead and just see. Do I get the check mark? No, I want the check mark. We're going to try it again. I think we could skip this part. Yeah, skip demonstration, and no, I still
Four-wheel drive vehicles are
cannot
very stable
drive
through
it.
turns, so you're
I
probably
don't
not
know.
going to be dealing
That
with
is
unrecoverable
strange. Like, is it just this lesson that's bugged, or is it something that happened to the game that's causing it not to work? Let's see. No, I can drive here just fine, so something's with that lesson is acting up. Okay. Well, I was going to end the video there anyway, so we'll just end it a little bit early. Till next time, this is WhyBeAre. We'll get through these two tutorials, maybe the third one as well, in the next video. So until then, I'll see ya.